Charlie. It's very simple.
No bullshit news. Like most of your stories, it's false. No bullshit news.
Stop with the media bullying. Charlie?
No bullshit news.
Hot dog. No shame in my game.
Hey, you look at me once, you look at me twice. Look at me again, and there's gonna be a fight. We're gonna rock this town, we're gonna rip this place apart.
All right, everybody. Here we go. What's happening, everybody? Coming to you, No Bullshit News Hour, coming to you on 9:10 a.m. as well. Monday, 4 o'clock to 5. Hey, Bob, we're all alone today. I poured you a whiskey.
Well, I saw that, and thank you very much, sir.
Aaron, no Jason, no
Scholar
Joe.
and a gentleman.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, brother.
It's good to say I love you, you know what I mean? Thinking about Tony Bourdain.
Absolutely.
It's this Sunday night. You download this Sunday. Tune into CNN tonight. Bourdain's last episode. It's like
Gone but not forgotten.
Like a big brother to me, that guy. Like a big brother.
He did some amazing shit.
He did. Well, anyway, we'll get to that at the end of the show. Look, we had the elections Tuesday. I want to bring the Ayatollah of Poland Rola onto the show. Ed Sarpolis of Target Insight, the executive director. You hear me, Eddie?
I can hear you good.
How are you, bro? Look, I'm gonna do this. First of all, let's just get right into this. I want to look at the national election first. Let me ask you: was there a blue wave?
Yes, there was. Not a tidal wave, but there was a blue wave.
Explain that to me. I mean, the Republicans took probably 3 seats in the Senate, which is an anti-wave, and then what the Democrats took 30 seats in the House?
Well, actually, they're moving up past the 30 if things continue. And on the Senate race, there's 2 or 3 Senate races still up for recount. There's Arizona, there's Florida, a couple other ones. So there's a possibility that Senate thing might be chipped away. But the important thing for the Democrats, going into the election, the talk was at least the House. The Senate was a little bit harder, and because of the nature of the states. But the bottom line for Democrats to regain control, possibly more than 30. Not only they picked up they picked up a number of governor seats. They flipped like 14 legislatures. For them, that's a wave. Maybe not a tidal wave, but it is a wave. And remember, if this wasn't talked about early in advance, we'd be saying it would be. But right now, I'd say for them, the fact that they're regaining some bases back, I think that's important.
Yeah, well, is that a sign of the times, or is that how things work in America? Because correct me if I'm wrong. Bill Clinton was elected in 92, and in the midterms in 94, he lost both houses. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and Bush was elected in 2000, and by 2006, he lost both houses, correct?
But Bush, the second time he got reelected, that didn't always happen. So the point being is it's important to understand this does not always happen, okay?
Wait, one more, though. One more is very important. Obama was elected in 2008, and he lost the House in 2010 with 63 seats going Republican, and then the Senate and 14, and what was that, 9 Senate seats flipped to the Republicans? My question being, is this the new American way where the middle's forever shifting because the middle is forever unsatisfied?
Oh, that's been going on since the lifetime history. But what's important to understand is that what we're saying here is that where are things starting to change? We got redistricting coming up in 4 years, and Republicans are finding it harder and harder to control places. I mean, when you look at Texas, the fact that they came with almost a few inches of winning that seat, that's what's changing. That's the wave. Because Democrats in Texas, if you talked to them last year, they were hoping to maybe win something or even come close in about 10 years as demographics shifted. So we are seeing some shifts change, and that's what's important. Are there shifts? Back in 1990, the Census Bureau predicted that, about another 10 years, the white population will not be the majority population in the country, and not the majority of voting population either. So this is a movement.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's no sense fearing a caramel planet. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this: Ted Cruz is probably the biggest douchebag in politics I've ever met. The guy is a phony piece of wood. So that would make him that sort of styrofoam stuff you glued to your wall to make it look like you had pillars, like your mom did back in the 70s. Could it be that they just put up bad candidates like Bill Schuette? You got waxed here. Is it the party? Is it the principles of conservatism, or is it's still just all uptight sort of white guys? Even though Cruz is
well, it's still white guys, but in Texas we still don't have all of the people of color voting in these elections. Okay, so it's getting them motivated. But here, for example, here in Michigan, we go back to the 11th congressional district. This is the first time.
Which one is that?
That's where the Haley Stevens beat Lena Epstein, the David Congressman Trotsky. Okay.
Yeah.
We got this. That's sort of a microcosm of Texas, not the same makeup. But the point being, for the last 15, 20 years, that district had a growing population of Pakistanis, Indians, Chaldeans, whatever like that. Up until recently, we're not registered to vote. Okay.
Yeah.
They were not active votes. And so what had happened here is that you got now these people, population have settled in. They're now registered to vote. They're now voting. In Texas, you're finally getting a Hispanic population, people of color, finally getting registered to vote and actually voting. We saw this in Holland, Michigan, believe it or not, over the last 30 years. Most of the people who were Hispanic in Holland, Michigan, on the west side of the state, basically were immigrants here picking crops for a decade. Finally, their kids grew up and got to vote. So now Hispanics make up a large part of the elected forces in Holland. So what the shift is that people who basically had the right to vote, we're not doing that. We're seeing a movement to, I am going to vote.
Right.
And are we seeing younger voters?
Yes, there's an increase. Well, it's going to be an increase because a lot of the old farts are dying.
I'm an old fart.
I don't think that's funny. That's kind of morbid. It's kind of morbid.
But you got to admit, the largest population there's been since the 1950s is the baby boomer generation. Okay, we've dominated politics now for almost 3 decades, and it's the bottom line, the fact that we're now getting into those 70s and 80s and 10,000, whatever. We're getting to the point we're starting dying off. Okay, we're starting reaching those populations. So yes, it's going to start getting younger because no longer the largest birth population after the Second World during the Second War is now beginning to fade. Same thing happened with Reagan Democrats in the 80s. The average Reagan Democrat, when they were voting for Reagan, were already near 60 years of age. And so bottom line, they faded off, and we became the dominant, the baby boomers. So it's like cyclical. But we are seeing some changes in demographics, people actually getting involved, and that is younger people. But more importantly, it's not only younger, but college-educated people. Okay, when I look at the people in Michigan who voted for Bill Schuette, the plurality of his vote were less than college-educated or less than community college educated. Okay. So there's also much more educated workforce who are not as loyal to one party or the other.
Well, let me go like this. Demographics aside, all right? Let's just talk about what people are. You talk about Pakistanis, Hindus, Chaldeans, Hispanics, blacks. By nature, all of these people are conservative people. They're family people. Yes. They're working people.
Yes, they are.
They're people into education. Yes. Naturally, the way they look at life is through a conservative lens. Would you agree with that?
On moral issues, social issues, I agree, and religious issues. But when it comes to governmental issues, it's a little bit different.
Okay, well, what is that? But the bigger point is, how do the Republicans open their tent? How do they not look like old white guys? I mean, naturally,
I don't know that they can.
I think they can, but I don't know, Bob, what a Democrat is, except we're not Trump, or we're not white, and a lot of Democrats.
Well, Charlie Duff and Bob there, the fact those who lean Democratic, many of you are white. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Christian Whitmer is white. Okay. Joe Biden is white. Okay. Let's get real here.
That's true.
There are white people in the Democratic Party.
The majority, I think, of Democrats are white.
Well, and they're getting
the majority are, but they're less and less.
They're getting more college-educated people, too, trying to
it's less and less. I'm just saying, like, how people break. So who broke here, Ed, in this election? Who created the blue ripple? Was it?
Essentially it was women, Republican women also. They didn't switch parties. They just decided that they didn't want to do this again. This election was a repeat of 1974, 75, and 76 during the Nixon era, okay? I was the pollster of record for the Dick Van der Laan special election where Jerry Ford became vice president, okay? And that election, I was consulting Dick Van der Laan as a college student. And what we did to win that special primary, actually a general election, was the fact that 60% of Republican women switched and vote Democratic because they were tired of the Republican males telling them how to vote.
So let's bring it to bring it up to today. So basically, white women are the swing vote.
Yes.
White women decide which way the country goes. In terms.
It's always been that way. It's always been that way since the 60s.
So maybe the Republicans, if you want to hold on for a couple more years, is you ought to stop lecturing women about their vaginas. You better talk about education. You better talk about equal pay and just some equity, which is what most Americans are looking for. Would you agree that's a decent stance?
Oh, I would agree with that. And those who are conservative but still support Democrats, basically they're looking for that security net. So if something does happen, they know the government's there. Not necessarily want government in their life always. When David Bonnier was winning in the northern Macomb County in the conservative areas of St. Clair County, he was not winning that because he was a Democrat or a liberal. It's because he represented the safety blanket and the safety net that those conservative voters were looking for when things got bad.
Well, let's keep it to today, Edward. John Bonnier, that's long gone. Let me look at it this way. In Michigan, Whitmer killed Schuette by 10, just what you called. You predicted that.
Yeah.
But she has no coattails. The
reason she didn't have any coattails, well, you and I talked about this the other day.
Don't tell the audience that. This is supposed to be unrehearsed.
Okay, but it's very fresh.
It's no bullshit news. You're right. We did talk about the other, but it was really interesting what you told me. So please.
Well, the bottom line, the fact is what happened is that 53% of the people who voted in Michigan said they were voting the way they were voting, and why they did show up to vote is because they were voting because of Trump. And that 52% said they were also voting Democratic, and also 50% also matched the identical percentage that Gretchen Whitmer got. There was not a vote for against Gretchen, not for against Schuette. This was, we didn't want another Trump. Schuette looked like Trump. Gretchen did not look like Trump. Okay, that's why you had so many other women winning down the ticket. They were just tired of that, what they were seeing and hearing. And Schuette, that's what happened.
But there's no appreciable movement in the legislature. How do you explain that?
So that's because Democrats have no message for anybody north of Grayling.
That's true.
Huh.
And the bottom line, if they had, when Congressman Bart Stupak was up there, they were winning up there. The bottom line, neither Barack Obama in 12, whether it's Gary Peters, Debbie Stabenow, Gretchen Whitmer, no Democrat since 2008 has won anything of any consequence north of Grayling in Michigan.
Besides Trump is a bore and, a liar and all of that, what do you think the Democrats have to do? How do they have to position themselves? Do they have to go far left, or do they got to come to the middle? Does the middle work, or does a new alternative work? How do you see it?
No, but you got to get back to how they used to win in the past. You got to have a stance. You can't be in the middle ground. People get motivated because you take a stance. Because you got to remember, there's the point when Republicans go way to their right, we go way to the Democrats go way to the left. They all meet somewhere in the middle. Democrats are going to have to fly. Right now, there's a mood for what you call liberal. Well, it's more basically what the Republicans used to talk about in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, that type of thing. What changed in the fact when Democrats started winning on those issues, Republicans flipped again. Bottom line, Democrats have to say what they're for, what they're fighting for, okay? And when you look at some of the, for example, in Mississippi, where Democrats winning Congress seats in Mississippi and Alabama, that's because they took a stance on their issues. People in those seats are not looking at those issues because you got to remember, people left, going old school here, people left Detroit because they got tired of the many paying for the few. That was their perception. When the many feel that government's helping them, they're going to vote with the Democrats. What's happening is the fact that now the population is saying, those who vote Democrats are saying, now you're taking care of me because Trump isn't taking care of me on my health care and my education. That's what's happened.
That sounds middle ground to me, man.
But I think centrists lost out in this last election. People who put forth a progressive agenda, like the Beto O'Rourke, Stacey Abrams.
I think
they didn't win, but they're real close.
They didn't win, and I think if you look at the totality of what the Democrats won, it's more middle ground. It's more health care.
Yeah, but Bredesen, the guy in Tennessee, he lost, and he was totally a centrist Democrat, where you got guys like Beto O'Rourke, who was espousing a progressive agenda. He did really, really well in Texas.
And he lost.
And he lost.
But you got to remember, bottom line, sometimes you confuse the healthcare issue used to be a Republican issue. Okay, a lot of these things used to be Republican issues. Now they're going, in order to stick to that ground, less than college-age conservative, I don't like what's going on. This reminds me of Mississippi burning when it was asked, well, why did your dad kill that horse? Because I didn't have one. That's why he killed the black man's horse. The bottom line, White's saying, I still want my military, I still want this, I'm still conservative, but I want you to take care of me. That's no longer a centrist issue or a progressive issue. That's a conservative or liberal issue because people are saying the fact, my wages are not going up. I'm not seeing the jobs. My kids are still living at home. That's no longer a liberal or a consensual. It's an issue that we all believe in.
So that's neither left nor right nor center. Is it correct that more or less 20% of the electorate's a Democrat, 20% is a Republican, and 60% is an independent?
Yep.
So all these millions and kabillions are spent trying to manipulate my mind. I really do believe that equity for all is the way to go. Maybe I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I'm a dope.
Well, we will leave you with the dinosaur pick, but the dope probably not.
Is that not right? Isn't it?
I agree with you, but I've been living politics all my life, and the bottom line is if the people feel that you're looking at their issues and you care about their issues, it's no longer left or right or progressive. Okay? For example, here's the case in point: George Soros, right, the epitome of Republicans attack him. Okay.
Yep.
And then you got the Koch brothers. Okay. Guess who's leading the charge on prison reform? George Soros and the Koch brothers together.
Point being what?
The point being, they're both left and right extremes. Bottom line is, we pick on people because we're assuming that that's our flag why we're going to go against the other party. But Koch and Soros brothers agree on issues, and they're working together. Okay? When issues become an importance to both sides, they're no longer centrist progressive. They are an issue. Right now, healthcare is an issue for everybody.
See, that by the way, you just said the code word that's really annoying me now. Both sides. I really do get around this country. You know how many sides there are?
More than two.
There are thousands of sides. Thousands.
Correct.
And we have two choices, and it's becoming a silly parlor game to me.
Well, I would agree with you, but the problem is that we haven't had any major party shifts in the 1835s, the 1850s. The last major shift with the Whig Party. And the last other big shift was that happened in the 60s because of the Great Society. You got to remember, the Southern Democrats flipped to becoming Republicans, and a lot of Republicans became Democrats. Okay,
let me remind you,
and that was because religious. That was remember all this whole thing about religious fervor. That used to be a Democratic issue until the 60s. Okay?
Well,
things flip around.
Let me remind the listener, and then you, as the Ayatollah of Polarola, can tell them. If a third party receives 5% of the national vote, a third party receives 5% of the total national vote, that party in the next cycle receives federal matching funds for the money they raise. Meaning,
correct.
Let's take the Kavanaugh vote or the Betsy DeVos vote, right, where Pence has to come in and give the deciding vote. If a third party has one Senate seat, well, that is a negotiable position for the third party, meaning I'll give you my vote, but this is what you got to give me. Isn't it time maybe we start building a third side and a fourth side if everybody's angry with the two sides?
I would agree with you, but then you're going to have a British Parliament. I don't know if we're ready to do that.
They're groovy, baby.
I didn't say they were groovy.
Well, I don't know that we're ready for that either.
What?
But it seems like we're done with two parties.
Well, then we're not ready for the alternative, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I would.
What's wrong with the British system? What, it doesn't work? I like Britain. It works.
Hell, Brexit's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but the whole world's doing that. Ed, Bob, right? Yeah. The whole world. Look, the Brazilians elected far right. Most of Europe. Look at Russia has a new Stalin. Italy has a new Mussolini. Austria has a new Hitler. That's a little bit over the top.
Poland's got a fascist.
Spain has a new Franco. The UK has a new Chamberlain. Germany has camps. Denmark has official ghettos. Mexico had gasoline riots last year. 2008 is not over. That was just the seed sowing right there. That's what I see. I think people.
Well, the other thing we'd have to change though is our electoral college process and the way we elect president. Okay. And so in order for some of this more than, for example, when Ross Perot was in the party, okay, running, okay, the difficulty for him is the fact is that was a man-made individual who made that, okay. After he left, it plummeted, okay. Remember Paul Simon from Illinois? He tried to create his third party. It didn't work, okay. The bottom line is going to have to be more than just a figurehead out there who's willing to, is going to lead more than a couple elections. We have to build a movement. And every party goes through. The question is where are we going to see this movement? What's the longevity? The difficulty in our society, the fact is we don't have anybody that can create a movement long enough to create that foundation. Whether it's financing, that's the other issue. Is the fact is that when you have and right in California, it costs more to run a state house than a congressional seat. In Michigan, and the Congressman Bishop's seat between hard South line, they spent $45,000 to try to protect Mike Bishop's seat. Republicans did $45 million.
How'd that work out for him?
Wow, it didn't.
It didn't.
You look, Laura. Okay, the bottom line is the fact is that it's not only is a third party in place. Yes, but the question is who's going to run that party? Who's going to build that voice? Who's going to maintain that voice? We've all tried that. Okay, we've tried that in Michigan. We've tried that all over the place. And the question is how do we get there? I agree with you. We need more people to break up. The reason Democrats are becoming more diverse because it's being forced upon. Republicans don't have any division right there. There is no groups that are getting them to go back to where they were. There is no other than a white male party that's over 45, 50 years of age. You look at the Senate; most of them are in their 70s.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what was Whitmer's statewide split total with the black vote?
Well, this is important. This is where it's important to understand that shifts are happening with the Democrats. Okay, about 400,000 to 500,000 of the electorate were African American voters on election day. Okay, and basically, people always decide well, the blacks voted the way Detroit voted. Well, that's not the case. About 36% of black vote went to Bill Schuette.
What?
And
wait, whoa. About 36% of the total.
32. It actually was 32%.
Okay, let's call it 30. 30%
Yeah.
of the black vote in the state of Michigan went for Bill Schuette, the Republican.
Yeah.
I smell. See, I smell things changing. I smell that it's now beyond just race and gender. It's about your values.
It's about economics.
It is
too.
Economics, baby.
It's economics.
I need a job.
That's shocking.
That is
well,
shocking.
the reason that, bottom line, the fact, out of 96% of the voters of Detroit voted for Gretchen. They have African American vote. It's the people who leave Detroit who begin to become wealthy and successful, who begin to view themselves as Republicans. Blacks do it. Everybody does it as they get older. They want their wealth protected. Okay, they're in some of the school districts that I work in, for example, once the African Americans become wealthy, they don't want people of their own same color coming to that school district. Okay?
Ooh, what?
So,
wow.
What? Did you poll that? Tell me you polled that.
Yes, I did.
Wait, whoa. You polled that?
Yes, I did.
So black people that are economically upwardly mobile don't want poor people in their schools.
Else of any other color.
Don't want poor people in
schools. They're no
schools.
different than any person of any other color.
Is it specifically they don't want poor black kids or just poor kids?
Poor kids. Well, bottom line, in their areas, most of it is black kids.
Dang.
Wow.
This is interesting.
Wow.
Okay, listen, Ed, you're the man. You are the official pollster for the No Bullshit News Hour because you know bullshit. Would you accept that title?
Yes, I generally give no bullshit because both parties hate me in Michigan.
Me too, brother.
Well, I got a job for you though, Ed. You can poll people on what their favorite whiskey is. I'm going to say Jameson.
Okay.
Did you ever poll that?
I wouldn't go that far.
Did you ever poll that? People's drinking habits and how they vote?
Yes, I did. Well, actually, I've done. I also polled on what body parts people stare and how they vote. So I've done all that stuff.
What was the result?
Yeah, give us a little taste.
Well, he'll love this. The bottom line, I did this in 2002. And baseball, I I asked what body parts you stare at, and if you were a derriere person, you voted for Governor Granholm. If you were a boob man, you voted for, you stared at breasts. People assume that Dick Bosco was a boob anyway, so just kidding.
See, I'm a face man. Third party. There you go again. I'm all about
I know that, but bottom line, I didn't ask you where your hands went.
Stay in your pockets. Take it easy, Weinstein. All right. All right. Listen, Eddie. Thanks. We got to jump. We got to talk about the pot thing with a pothead friend of ours.
Well, you have a good day.
All right, man.
All right,
Thanks,
Ed.
That's
Bye-bye.
our Polis, Executive Director, Target Insight. Cool dude.
Very cool.
Cool dude. He's been around a while, man. He knows where the bodies are buried up there. Let me take this moment here to, since we're talking about money and upward mobility, and you want to stay upwardly mobile. Some of us are secure with our finances right now, but might not be as prepared as we need to be when planning for our future financial obligations, whether it be pension planning, life insurance. Yes, think about life insurance. College savings, if you love your babies, or tax-deferred investments. Luke Nowacki can help answer all of your questions and help plan for your future finances. Call Luke at 248-663-4748. It rhymes, 248-663-4748 to set up a plan today. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Incorporated, member of FINRA, SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates, Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates, Inc. Thanks for coming on with us, Luke. All right, so listen, man. Hey, Bobby, we got Anquinette dialed up here? Oh, it's cool. Anquinette, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
You sound really excellent.
Wow, thank you.
You just sound beautiful, as you always
Oh, appreciate that.
So it's Anquinette Jameson.
Sarafo.
Sure. Sarfo. Yeah.
Sarfo. Yeah.
There you go, Bob.
Yeah.
Y'all remember from Fox 2, the anchor in the morning, host, excellent person. You left. What are you doing, Anquinette?
Well, I am medically retired due to multiple sclerosis. And so then I became an advocate for the legalization of marijuana.
And you're a winner. And you're a winner as of Tuesday.
Yay. Yeah. So it's been a nice time volunteering for the last 2 years to try to expand access. I mean, actually, I believe that responsible adults have a right to make a decision that won't kill them. I'm really an advocate for legalization for adult use because I want more people with medical conditions to give it a try, or at least have the option to give it a try. Seems like everybody has something, so
you have
this
MS.
may be a way to help people.
Does it help you? Does it?
Absolutely. It's when I was diagnosed about 5 years ago, they eventually put me on 9 medications. I was sick all the time. I started smoking a year after I was diagnosed, and I'm no longer taking any of those 9 medications. I only take medical marijuana.
So you
discontinued all of them.
You weren't a pothead. You didn't smoke weed before you started feeling the effects of your disease.
Correct. I did not. I mean, I had no problem with people doing it, and I tried it before. But, I was in TV, and you're always subject to the whims of management. So every 3 years, I knew that I would have to do a drug test most likely. And also, you hear those rumors about munchies, and I worked in an industry that was appearance driven. The last thing I wanted to do is, smoke weed and have the munchies all the time. Yeah, so this wasn't my thing. So, but then I tried it, and now it's definitely my thing. So, yeah.
Anquinette, I have a question. What was it? I mean,
okay.
So you were on 9 medications, and then you discovered the cannabis was effective for you. What was the cost difference? It had to have been huge.
And the physical difference.
Well, the physical difference was huge. So the cost difference, I had insurance, so they covered a lot of it. I mean, I had co-pays sometimes, but I would say I was on a drug Copaxone, which was my multiple sclerosis drug, and that drug retails for $91,000 a year.
Oh my God!
So,
wow.
I was at the 80 milligrams of Adderall a day. If I could remember, I think that cost was around $600. And again, these are absorbed by my insurance company. But as we know, down the road, we all end up paying for that. So because Copaxone, my injectable, is only $15,000, I think, in Germany, and it's $91,000 here. But so yeah, it was significant. So now when I think of what I would pay for a month of medical marijuana, man, I mean, maybe I would say like an ounce. So let's say an ounce or a good ounce is what, like 300, 350 now, depending on state regulations. Let's hope it doesn't go up higher than that because cannabis is expensive. So, but yeah, I think between that and
and no side effects. Like Adderall and all that stuff. Weed doesn't really do that to you.
Right. Well, Adderall spiked my blood pressure 40 points. Weed definitely doesn't do that. When I was diagnosed, I was told that medical marijuana may affect my memory, and I retired because of my memory loss. But I felt that at that point, my memory loss was significant, and I was throwing up all the time. So I said, okay, so I'll forget maybe a little bit more. It turns out I haven't forgotten anymore. I take memory tests every year, and my memory is stable. And that's because you can find different strains of medical marijuana that could combat the memory loss. You look for those that have the pinene terpene, the terpene pinene, by the way. So Gorilla Glue is a good one.
So speaking of glue, like weed hasn't led you to sniffing glue or cocaine.
Oh, the gateway theory.
The gateway drug.
Well, listen, let's not laugh because people are listening.
That's true.
And they think about this and they've been told this and the movies that have been put out in grade school. So, you're a very classy, smart person that people trust who didn't smoke weed and now does. Have you jumped to other drugs?
Right.
Have you had an urge?
I have not jumped up. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not sniffing cocaine. I'm not shooting heroin. I'm not on opioids. Cannabis is enough. It's enough. And I understand there are a lot of people who still believe the gateway theory, and no matter what you tell them, that even the federal government has debunked this. It has been disproven. It does not exist. The government has even acknowledged that. But you still have a lot of people because they've been subjected to 60 years of propaganda, anti-cannabis, anti-marijuana propaganda. And it was very effective. And people don't change their minds until they see other people functioning and those people are users. I was surprised when I came out of the cannabis closet, as it's called, how many people that I knew every single day, friends, family, they all said, oh, yeah, I do too. But no one talks about it. But these are functioning members of society, upstanding members of society, who, decide that they don't want to drink. Instead, they want to have a couple of puffs.
And I would rather be on the road with somebody who had a couple puffs than somebody who had a six-pack.
Even though it is still illegal to indulge in them.
But I would tell you, I don't know. I'd rather somebody have a couple of beers and some puffs because the weed today,
it's good.
So strong. It's too strong for me.
It's good.
It's too strong.
And Charlie, while I understand some people may like that, I want people to be aware that if you do that, you intensify the effects of both. So
get some light beer and some low level weed and even the shit out. So listen.
I'm not saying that.
Prop 1 passed. Prop 1. So weed will be legal. Let me give you just a couple questions here. When can I possess legally? When can I have my cigarettes, my marijuana reefer cigarettes?
10 days after the election has been certified, the personal liberties become established in Michigan. The retail framework would take about a year, but 10 days after the vote is certified. Yes.
I can walk around with an ounce.
2.5 ounces.
2.5 actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And you can have an additional 10 at home.
and it doesn't have to have
And
a
if you're
stamp
growing.
on it or anything like that. Like, look,
Doesn't
if
have to
it's
have a what?
if it's not legal to sell it, and I'm holding it, and it's not I don't have a medical card. Where's the origins of that? That seems like a really gray area.
People still have the right to grow it in their homes.
do?
You have the right to 12 plants. You still have that right to grow in your home.
If you're registered.
And also, no, the law allows for home grows. That's what you do in your home.
Really?
Obviously, if you're renting a home, yes, absolutely. We worked hard to get these protections for people
I did not
because
know
again,
that. Did you know that, Bob?
I did not. I didn't know that there was restrictions on how many plants you could grow. I knew there was for the caregivers, but for recreational, I didn't realize.
Well, can I grow it in my yard, Antoinette? Like just natural
it
dirt?
has to be secured and it has to be obstructed from view.
Does it have to be both, or can it just be obstructed from view?
I believe obstructed from view and secured, so both.
I got to put a cage around it.
Most likely, yes. A shed would be better, I believe. A greenhouse, yeah. But yeah, you can. There are outdoor grows, and but
you know they call it weed for a reason. It grows
well.
so easily. To be honest with you, when I lived out in Oakland, California, I just threw seeds in my garden. You don't have to attend to this stuff; it goes crazy.
Yeah, it grows like a weed, but the people who really grow artisanal weed are artists.
You know what Bourdain would call you? A douchebag. You're like a craft beer guy.
I like my craft marijuana.
Man, I like earthy stuff, you know. I mean, I don't need no psychotropic. I'm off to the moon.
And Charlie, I just don't want to forget this, and Bob too. You can also it becomes legal for someone to give you cannabis.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can gift it all you want. So
have
maybe
you been
that
out to
will be
Frisco
the
lately, where it's legal? It's like, at Denver.
I've been to Vegas and I've been to Denver several times.
Man,
they're
just
California.
bums flopping around, like just smoking the reefer on the sidewalk or laying
in California.
Out. Oh man, Frisco's crazy.
Well, in Michigan, you can't.
Well, that would be illegal here.
Yeah, you can't smoke in public.
It's not legal in California either, but
they do.
Bye, cat's out of the bag.
Yeah,
cops got better things to do.
And they do.
I think that here in Michigan, I think that when I look at the activists, you have people at Hash Bash, and that's the kind of open thing that the cops look the other way. But a lot of people have fought so hard for legalization. I mean, I've stood alongside people who've been fighting this since John Sinclair. I mean, I've met John Sinclair. So this fight has been happening since 1971. These people want to show that we're responsible. So I think that there's going to be a lot of, I would hope that there would be a lot of being sensitive to the fact that, yes, even a legalization has resoundingly passed in Michigan, we still have a responsibility to be tactful and respectful of people's public spaces.
Just like with your booze, right? Just like with your booze. So now I get to come out of the closet because it's legal.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah. Everybody, even my ma smoked it with me before. Mama.
Really?
Yeah,
That's cool. I tried to get my mom to smoke, but she can't inhale. There are a lot of people who have no idea how to inhale.
Is your mama Bill Clinton?
No.
Just keeping it political.
I have a question. I have a question, Q. Mm-hmm. Last Tuesday on Election Day, how good did it feel to vote for legalization? It
gave me chills, but I have to say, and I know this is kind of political too. What really made me proud was to vote for Dana Nessel.
Yeah.
Dana Nessel and Gretchen Whitmer and everything. But yeah, to me, the victory was getting it on the ballot. What happened after that was, as they say, the will of the people. But in 2016, when the state went to such great odds to make sure that it stayed off the ballot, that was just so wrong to me. And so, there wasn't a guarantee that it was going to pass. But I felt that 300,000 people put their names on a petition saying, I want this on the ballot. And the state, for whatever reason, fought them tooth and nail to keep it off the ballot so that it has to have a whole new round of funding and support and finally get it on the ballot. To so many people, that was the victory. And then this, of course, is, the sparkle on top.
Well, here's the thing.
But yeah, that people got to say how they felt was great. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. this is still illegal. It's illegal at the federal level. We're creating a constitutional crisis when states thumb their nose at the supremacy clause. You have a dispensary. You just opened it. You can't even put your money in the bank because that's still drug laundering of drug money, correct?
Actually, no. There are some banks that have decided to do business with this cannabis industry.
They're taking a chance because they can be shut down and prosecuted.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you wouldn't name these banks on the air, would you?
I would not.
Right.
I would not. No, but yeah, it's a danger. But luckily, and here's the thing about the conflict between state versus feds. We in the industry and we in the movement believe that as more and more states come online and say we want to legalize adult use, it forces the federal government to do something. At least it should force the federal government to do something. If the majority of the country wants this substance legalized, what happened to the will of the people? Who do you work for? And also, this is another reason for people to become more politically engaged. I was appalled when I saw the influence of drug companies and insurance companies, because you don't see this until you are a patient with an expensive, rare disease. And you're always on the phone fighting with insurance companies. My insurance company cut me off. My long-term disability insurance company cut me off 2 months after they approved my disability. Let me go back to work.
Why'd they cut you off?
They said that they felt that my job was a desk job and that I could do it. Mind you, I had already been off. Oh, and they ignored the recommendations that I quit working from 4 doctors. I had 2 neurologists, a neuropsychologist, and a nurse practitioner say she should not be doing live television for hours at a time every day. They ignored all of that and cut me off. And this insurance company, which is also a very large health insurer, does this all the time, so much so that 9 other states have sued them for this, and they have paid penalties for this in the millions of dollars. So when I called the state of Michigan and I said, this has happened to me, and I talked to other MS patients, heart patients, this insurance company did the same thing to them. And the state told me it was not their jurisdiction, which isn't true. So
the people got to take it back to the earth, and they have.
Exactly. So that's why, I'm grown. I'm not growing it. We're going to grow it in Warren, commercially. But
can I invest? Can I invest in this? So when the tobacco company come to try to buy it up, I can have some retirement. Can I get in? You looking for investors?
We are not looking for investors. Well, I take that back. If people are serious about investing, if there are groups that are serious about investing, because we would like to be able to maybe expand.
No, me.
Sure.
I'll call you.
Okay, call me.
I don't want the audience investing too. I'm looking for an opportunity here.
Oh.
Well, and I know you opened your store on Election Day. How have things been going? Great. People have been very, very kind, and it's been wonderful to help a lot of people. The phone calls you get from people after they have been in pain for so long, and then they try a couple of drops of something, and they can't believe it. Well, Charlie, you'll appreciate this, even though he hasn't been there yet. But my patient was Ike McKinnon.
You can't do that. There's HIPAA rules. What are you doing?
No. I know. He told me I can share his story.
Oh, sweet. The former chief of police.
Smoking.
Yeah.
He's a weed patient. That's cool.
No, he does not. He does not smoke.
I didn't say he
does
did.
not get high. Okay.
Oh, right.
He doesn't get high.
It's an oil. Is it the oils?
Exactly.
Oh,
and there's just people that, he's had 3 failed back surgeries. And he's like, people are getting older. And I don't know if he's 75. Man, these older people they're like more active than me.
My wife wanted me to ask you that about, people had to go to like Colorado to get, the it doesn't get you high, but the extractions, the oils, they were taking their children there almost like it was some kind of advanced.
Yeah, they're medical refugees.
Yes.
They're literally considered medical refugees.
And that'll be legal here now as well.
Yes, but for medical patients, that has been legal for 10 years.
Do you have to go to a doctor for this, or can we go to you?
Yes. Well, once it becomes retail in about a year, then yeah, anyone over the age of 21 will be able to come to us.
Well, how do we know that this stuff actually works? Well, how do we know it's not like echinacea pills? You just think it works. What's the science behind it? And if it's real science...
There's lots of science behind it. There's absolutely lots of science.
Do doctors prescribe it?
No, because we live in a country where, well, actually, when you get a card, doctors can't prescribe it because it's federally illegal and they could lose their license. What a doctor can do is recommend that you have a card because you have a condition that is a qualifying condition in your state. And then it's on you through a lot of trial and error to figure out which strains and what properties work for you.
Illuminating.
So, right, the doctors don't know much.
So you have a dispensary. So you have a dispensary. And now that marijuana...
In Michigan, it's called a provisioning center, by the way. We can't use the term dispensary. It's illegal for me to say dispensary.
It's called what?
Provisioning center.
Provisioning center?
Yes.
So it's medical, right?
Yes. Correct.
So once this becomes legal, will you no longer be a medical center? Will you just...
We will be a medical center, yeah.
You will stay a medical center.
Absolutely. And in Michigan, I can't put in Michigan because we're in Michigan. It's the only facilities that would be allowed to have an over 21 or adult use license would be facilities that already have a medical license, at least for the first year or two. I can't remember how it's structured in the ordinance.
Do you have to get new licenses and things to sell retail?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those provisions have not been in place yet. That's what this year is going to take, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And mind you, it's taken a year for them to they're still in the process of licensing medical facilities. They have, I think, 800 applications, and they've only gone through a little over maybe 100.
Wow. You know what? You're a great reporter. Will you be?
I missed it, Charlie.
We're trying to.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that compliment.
Well, we're trying to put a show together.
From you.
We're trying to put a. Oh, thank you very much. Trying to put a show together. Will you be our weed expert? Can we call you when we have questions?
I would love you. I would love you. Thank you.
Awesome. Now, let me say this because we have to go into the next segment of the show. But, when I'm done taking my glaucoma medicine, when I'm just feeling a little famished, you know what I like to do?
What's that?
I like to go get a couple of American Coney Islands.
They're delicious.
Ah,
They're delicious.
Okay.
They're original. They're holistic. They have Vidalia onions, homemade chili.
I do love onions.
Yeah, Vidalia specifically.
Open,
open,
the sweet ones.
Open, yeah, exactly. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in downtown Detroit. And if you can't get there, you can always order online at AmericanConeyIsland.com, and you can ship Coney kits to anybody you like in the entire world. Did you know that? In the entire world?
I did not know that.
Me? I did not know that. No.
Okay, so what's the website for that, Q?
AmericanConeyIsland.com.
It might not be good for your health,
but
it's good for your soul.
It is. Hey, Q, before we let you go, I have one question. When you coming back to Fox 2?
I'm not going back to Fox. You mean like on TV just for a story, or you mean to work there?
No, I want you working.
She can't, dude. She's sick.
I know she's sick.
Oh, no. Oh, the thing is, I had to get a lawyer to sue my insurance company to reinstate me. So I'm back on. I'm disabled. I'm on disability.
Well, we miss you terribly.
I miss you guys.
She's
too.
right here. She's working again. She's the correspondent for No Bullshit News.
That's right.
Hour.
We just put you back to work.
Q, this is how you subscribe to this show. Okay, you just go to.
I already have.
Oh, that is freaking. What do you think?
But you can tell your people.
She's that good.
Tell the people, your people, our people. Tell them what.
Hey, all I did was I went to the App Store on my iPhone, and you just look into the podcast, and you just put in No BS News Hour, and bam, it pops up easy. You click on subscribe, and you're in.
See that? Or you can just look up LeDuff. You know that, right?
Oh, man, seriously?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
All right, lady, listen, thank you. I'm glad you're feeling well. Congratulations. Huge culture shift that basically we all just came out of the closet.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't it feel good?
Well,
It does
you know,
feel good.
let me put it like this. I don't care one way or the other. I'm my own man. I just want to thank you for doing the work. And, you know, you were brave, and the people are behind you. And even the people that might not want it legal, most people don't give a shit. So what you did is you're really doing something with your life, and the culture's changed, and you've really had a lot to do with it. So every life is meaningful.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yours is really meaningful.
Thank you.
And so thank you, and I'll talk to you, and thanks for being on.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
See you,
Miss
lady.
you both. See ya.
Yeah, wow. What a lady. I mean, really. Sometimes you're a leader. Sometimes you're a follower. Sometimes you're a dropout. No matter which one you are, you're still my family. We belong to each other. And you know what? Speaking of family, Joe the intern. Yes, the No Bullshit News Hour had our reporters out at the polls on Tuesday. We sent Joe with his homemade Make America Great Again hat, in which went to the dollar store and got his red hat and put some silver duct tape on it and wrote whatever he did. You know, Joe was a lifelong Democrat and got turned off. And, you know, Joe does what Joe does. We edited it up. It's important to say Joe lives in Southwest Detroit, Mexican town. And so he was at the polls, just taking the temperature. Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
You got Joe's piece?
We do.
Put it up. Fuck Joe. Hold on. He can hold on.
I'm out here to talk to other voters. How you doing, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. What do you think about the this immigration, this caravan coming? The Democrats want to just let them come on in, and Republicans are like, no, we got a process for that. What you think?
I think this is a free country, you know.
If you was in line to get your something handed out to you, and somebody came and bogarted the line and cut in front of you, you'd want to knock them out, wouldn't you?
No, I would want to knock them out.
What do you think? Do you think we should just let them come on down?
Yeah, they should be able to come on down. Everybody, they all equal.
They're equal, but they need to go through the process. What about...
Well, let them get a chance to have a process.
What about all the other people who had applied and waited 2 or 3 years?
They can go through the process just like they had to go through the process, but they still need a chance. They deserve a chance.
Okay.
Are you a Trump supporter? You are.
Yeah, you are.
We can tell by your face.
Hillary.
And your hat.
Obama for life.
There's middle situations right here in America.
Right. We got people starving here in America.
That's right.
Homeless people here.
That's right. Poverty in America.
Homeless and starving children. So should we take care of them, or should we kick them to the curb and bring in more hungry moms?
Well, I always believe we should take care of our own people first. I mean, take care of our own first, then let's take care of other people.
I was just wondering if I could holler at you for just a second about... I'm not going to ask you how you're going to vote.
No.
I just want to know how you feel about the immigrant situation, the caravans, people coming up here wanting to get in for free.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
There's a certain way to go about it, but then again, I understand they want to come for a better, the American dream. But at the end of the day, everybody, the way they're going about it is not the way they're reacting at the Mexican border, throwing rocks, trying to break down the barricade to get to the U.S. It's not the right way to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's just bringing negativity.
You're Latina, right?
Yes.
Have you immigrated here, or you were born here?
No, I was born here, born and raised here. But I do have family members that are, immigrants of Hispanic descent.
They're fleeing bad economic conditions mainly, right? And crime. Crime
is everywhere, you know what I mean?
So
no matter what.
When they come here, they're going to find the same thing. There's not a whole lot of jobs. Economic conditions aren't as great.
The thing is, though, well, yeah, but a lot of the Hispanic people that don't have documentation but can find a job within a week and find somewhere to stay and whatnot, and you have people that do have documentation who rather be on a corner panhandling or sleeping under bridges. Like, there's jobs out there, but a lot of Americans feel entitled to get paid better than minimum wage. You got to start somewhere. You can't start at a job and expect to get $15, $16 an hour. You can't be at a fast food place and expect to be getting $15, $16 an hour. You know what I mean? And then you have medical assistants and doctors getting paid similar to what you're getting paid, and it's not fair.
No bullshit.
Wow. You know what you got there?
What's that?
Southwest Detroit. You got a rainbow, a myriad of points of view. Let everybody come in. What about ours first? And that woman, particularly at the end there.
She's smart.
Completely smart. Like, listen, man, nothing's handed to you, but don't expect 15, and don't throw rocks and bum rushing the shit, but be kind. Like, that woman was like me.
Like, be legit.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not.
and I actually talked to a bunch of, actually about at least 4 or 5 different people that were just like her who said the same thing she did. So
I mean, you know,
she's not a minority.
So, Joe, that interview there on your ongoing education here, me as your professor, that thing there at the end was spectacular, really good. But in the beginning, you're asking leading questions of people like, you know, isn't this shit? And you're sounding like Jim Acosta here. You know, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
You want to leave room for people to talk, and within the conversation, let your point of view be known, because that's fair. But don't try to set them up, like, to your point of view. Because, quite frankly, you're a freaky nut with a homemade MAGA hat on, running around in the dark in Southwest Detroit. But that second half, Joe, real professional.
Yeah, good job, Joe.
Yeah, you're getting this, Joe.
You're getting it.
You really are. That was the best stuff from the polls.
I'm surprised you guys only picked one like her, because I talked to at least 4 or 5 different
Hey, dude,
people.
stop bitching. Stop it.
We had to edit it.
Yeah, we got to edit you, man. And by the way, you know, Mannix is saying stop playing with the volume. Set it and leave it. Because all that stuff you think was great didn't work because the sound was getting blown out because you were fucking with the technical end of it, which is the stuff you said you learned at Specs Howard. So.
Well, the level is recorded really, really low, so I have to bring the whole thing up.
Well, you screwed it up. I'm just trying to tell you. Like, you're always like, well, where's the rest of it? You start editing it.
Well,
I didn't throw a limiter on it like I had in the weeks past. I've been throwing a limiter on it.
Right.
This time I thought I could get by without the limiter.
Maybe you should thank us, your professors, instead of busting our balls that we didn't edit it your way.
Leave the limiter on. We'll adjust the levels.
Did you hear that way? Bob is a pro. What'd you say, Professor?
I said leave the limiter on. We'll adjust the levels.
Leave the limiter on. We'll adjust the levels.
Because it was all over the place.
Yeah. It was all over the place.
But your questions were really good, Joe. You did a good job asking the people about the caravan. So
and then they were your own questions. This week, I didn't write you questions. You're really doing well. The people are really liking you, Joe. They really are. You're the everyman. Don't listen. I notice you're getting cocky here too. Just be humble, right?
Just be
and
Joe.
Stop posting the shit on Facebook
before the show.
Yeah,
come on.
Take it easy.
What did I post? I did not.
You
post
do it.
anything.
Oh, I responded to you. Cut it out, Joe. You're giving the show away.
Yeah. Tell people to tune in. Don't post shit.
Yeah, let's just say, well, I was fat. Take a picture. Do a Facebook. Out here, no bullshit news hour at the polls. Tune in Sunday, right? Got it? Now we're teaching you advertising. Oh, listen, I got it.
Which is part of the biz.
Dude, I got a guy that's got a tweed jacket for you, man. What's your size?
Tweed.
Tweed, baby, tweed.
Classy.
We're going to get you a pipe, too, and then you can be a professor.
Oh, damn.
Probably either large or extra large.
Okay, and then, by the way, we did give Joe a makeover.
Sort of.
Sort of. What do you mean, sort of?
He's still the same Joe.
I mean, you had Wassam come to the house and basically harangued me for about 45 minutes about how fucked up I looked. He gave me a suit that's too tight to wear. and told me I needed to get my toenails. So that makeover.
Well, Joe, when
You hear that? You hear that?
Yeah,
His toenails.
When someone tells you to get your toenails cut, you need to get your toenails cut.
I mean, for Christ's
that's
sake,
not
Joe.
something that comes up.
Joe, I bet you after you clipped him, you chewed on him. Didn't you? You fucking did. Oh, he fucking did.
What?
He fucking did.
What? I didn't
Chewing
say
on his
that.
toenail clipping. All right, Joe, listen, get back to screwing in the light bulbs, man. We got to wind up the show. Good work. I'll talk to you this weekend.
Sorry, lady.
My man.
All right, Joe. Thanks, man. Good job.
And happy Halloween.
We got some Joe Out music? Yeah, we ain't got shit. Did we ever download The Damned?
No.
All right. Yeah, well, okay, we'll do
All right, we'll see you, Joe.
All right, listen, I'm going to throw all this stuff away, but let me just go real quick. In the media.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Good job.
In the media. To me, haranguing the president at a press conference, not the place to do it. There's a more clever way to do it. Number two, when protesters, look, I know Tucker Carlson. He's a friend of mine. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. Some things we do, a lot of things we don't. Leave his fucking wife alone. Don't go to his house. Nah, that's trouble. In Lansing, the journalists that cover the governor's office are going to be throwing him a private party. I'm just against that. I'm against that. And finally, you know who I'm for? Tony Bourdain. This week, Sunday, if you get this Monday, you know, you can get it. I'm sure they're going to run it on CNN for a long time. You can get it probably streaming. I'm sure you can. But I wrote a little something about Tony for Deadline Detroit. I suppose I could have got it someplace in a New York periodical, but this is about Detroit. He loved Detroit. He loved you. Here's what I wrote. I'm just going to go out on this. It's usually lame radio to read, but I'm going to because it's my radio. And we'll see you next week, right? After I read this, Bobby?
10-4.
Yeah, here, man. Pour us a drink, man. We'll toast Tony here.
We will have a drink.
Here's the story. Can I get another? Tony asked, looking lustily at the pack of Winstons on the seat of my brother's old checker cab I was driving. Be my guest, I said. I'm really not supposed to be smoking, he informed. I've got a touch of emphysema. How the fuck do you got a touch of emphysema, I asked. He'd been smoking like a pile of burning leaves. This must have been his fourth. Hard living in bath salts, he said deadpan. He torched up a cigarette, the last in the pack, and leaned out the window like a long silver-haired wolfhound, exhaling a plume across Shane Street. Tony Bourdain, elegant bad boy, Epicurean, swashbuckler, the world's most interesting man, was afraid the dash cam would capture him smoking and his part-time wife would find out. His true wife, of course, was The Road, shooting 20 episodes a year for a CNN show, Parts Unknown, jumping from the Congo to Tokyo, and now for the season finale, Detroit. It was a warm July in 2013. I pulled over to the liquor store to get another pack of smokes, 6 bottles of Heineken, and a bag of pork rinds. He offered to pay, but his hand moved conspicuously slowly for his pocket. We stood on the corner and drank the beer. This made him nervous. Not the surroundings of broken glass and broken people and gaunt dogs, but the schedule. We were freelancing and behind time. Tony, it quickly became apparent to me, was a stickler, a punctualist, a neurotic, wound tight like a pocket watch. The shoot for his show had been planned to the minute, but I had convinced him to take a ride to Parts Unknown and unplanned and unmanaged. I pointed out a ghost garden, those snatches and riots of flowers and fauna that grow in the front yards of long-abandoned houses, a reminder that people did and still do live here. He understood the sentiment. It captured his imagination and became the long, languid close of his Detroit story. Many in the metro area hated the elegy to the city, and I can understand that. After all, someone's grandmother lived in that house, someone's grandma planted those flowers, and we, her grandchildren, are still alive. One prick I know said Bourdain concentrated on dirtbags and losers. I will never forgive that prick for that. Sadly, Tony took his life this year at the end of a bathrobe belt. He was 61, the same age as Ernest Hemingway when he took his life. Even the world's most interesting men hurt. The news of his death still makes me hurt. His final show airs this Sunday. I was driving by that liquor store the other morning in the lonesome rain and decided to visit a few places we'd visited. How did Detroit look after 5 years? 5 years after the bankruptcy. There is the mega development downtown, much of it financed with tax breaks and public dollars. We know that much, and that much is all we seem to acknowledge. But like Tony wrote, empty lots and burned-out buildings are bad, but are cupcake shops, galleries, and artisanal baristas necessarily better? Maybe, probably, but maybe not. And we better ask ourselves this if that's what we want. I was introduced to Tony in the late 90s by his mother Gladys, who was my copy editor at the New York Times. He was a cool enough guy, New York to his core, ragged, wise-assed, urbane, and tall. Then he hit it big with the book Kitchen Confidential, the insider's Bible to chefs everywhere. He parlayed that into traveling around the world, a food show, for the next 16 years. He craved the authentic, a whiff of the dignity of the person who made the food as much as the scent of the food itself. He was about people in parts unknown. And what American city is 90% parts unknown? Detroit, most certainly. I drove him to a friend, Rochelle Jones, who had a pop-up barbecue and soul food restaurant on the front lawn of her home on the rotting east side near Charlevoix. Only 2 houses on her block were occupied. I believe the word Tony used to describe her collard greens was luxurious. When Anthony Bourdain says something like that about your cooking, luxurious, you're destined to leave the lawn for a storefront at the very least, maybe even a food truck. A customer had pulled up with a cooler full of beer on ice in the trunk. He had tall boys of Guinness. It was perfect. It's all gone now. Rochelle works full-time as a custodian on the behavioral ward at a health center on Connor, put out of the food business last year by repeated basement floodings brought on by poor city infrastructure. She tried to get the city to help, but the city has no money left over from its downtown spending spree to fix pipes on an east side street with 2 families. They're not coming, I know, she told me, but that's life out here and anywhere else, I suppose. You just got to maintain. I'll be back. I know I will. We stopped and had a thimble of cognac with the barber, Tony and I. I'm impressed how Detroiters can make it work, Tony said, lifting his glass in appreciation. The barber didn't cut it for long. The place is now boarded up and abandoned. We went on to have a long dinner of oxtails and yams, greens, blueberry cobbler, and homemade wine at the Full Belly Cafe at Nevada and Mound near the 11th Precinct. Tony's crew said it was the best food they'd had in Detroit, and I agree to this day. Isabel Gaddy, the proprietress, thought the people of the neighborhood and the police deserved wholesome, organic cuisine. She never made money. Isabel tried to expand over the years, but was outbid for the adjoining side lots by a downtown speculator who never developed. I'm a black woman, she said. I thought City Hall wanted to help people like me. I don't feel so now. She went looking for a liquor license, thinking that would draw a local crowd. But the price for a license had ballooned from $14,000 to $75,000 in just 2 years, since nearly all of the licenses had been bought up by downtown speculators. Then Isabel fell ill. Then came 7 surgeries. The boards went up, and the signage fell down. I can't use a broom, she told me by telephone, but I can still cook. My kids want me to leave Detroit, but I'm home. I'm an antique. I still dream of opening the restaurant back up. The Engine 23 firehouse on the boulevard is still there, although Engine 23 has been permanently mothballed. The men still battle on, and the coffee is always warm. On Robinwood Street, some houses have been demolished, lifting it halfway from hell. But the sidewalks are new and lead to nowhere, an incredible waste of money. Most other houses are boarded and barred and have cameras mounted from the roofs and have peepholes carved in the doors. cops don't drive by here. This is that other Detroit, if you want to acknowledge through the boom of the downtown building dust, the one filled with all the tough sons of bitches who stuck it out, who fought and continue to fight for their families, their homes, their way of life. This is the Detroit Tony Bourdain was attracted to, the authentic, the perpetual. He cared for people in a time when too few do. So here's to you, Tony, and you, Detroit, and you, Bobby. All right, thanks for listening. Remember, try to love one another.